Hello silver friends, this is Joli from Quicksilver Hair, where we normally discuss all things silver hair. But today I am jumping back into my series on embracing slow fashion. If you're new here, I have a small series on this channel about ditching fast fashion and embracing a slower fashion lifestyle. I ditched the dye and some things in my life changed dramatically because of that choice. And one of those things that came up was decluttering my house and my closet. And in that process, I ditched fast fashion. So in this video, we are getting back into that. I think this is my fourth video on this topic. And this video is all about budget. You know, one of the things about ditching fast fashion is you're ditching something that is very inexpensive and something that you can buy kind of mindlessly. So this is really about learning how to shop more mindfully, learning how to shop within your budget for something that may be more expensive without breaking the bank. First off, for me, it was shifting focus from quantity to quality. Fast fashion has us believing that if we leave the store with a bag full of goods, we got a great deal. In all reality, we didn't get that great a deal. We got a lot of very inexpensive items that may or may not last. And this wasn't that hard for me to stop shopping in those places because I was already starting to notice quality issues that I just was getting annoyed with. I couldn't stand that my clothes didn't make it through a few washes without holes in them or seams coming apart or buttons coming off or dye fading or items shrinking. So it was really apparent to me that I needed to stop shopping in certain places, and I had already begun that process before I had fully committed to ditching fast fashion. But breaking this thought process of buying cheaper clothing and equating it to getting a good deal is a really good start in the right direction for creating your budget, because you shift your mindset from budgeting for something inexpensive and you can buy a lot of it to budgeting for buying something really great and trying to get the best value you can with all of the slower fashion parameters met. The first step to a great budget is to know how much you have and how much you're spending. So you want to know your actual budget. The first place I would look is what you have been spending on fast fashion. So tally that up. Look through your bookkeeping and see if you can add up for a month or 3 months or whatever the amount of money you have spent on clothing, and take that number, and that is your base point for a budget. Now, you might find that you are spending too much money. You might find that you have a little bit more and you could spend a little bit more, or you might find it's just right with that amount for you to be able to start replacing your fast fashion with slower fashion pieces. For instance, recently I went through a no-buy time frame. It lasted about 6 months, and I saved up my clothing budget to kind of be extravagant and buy some things that were a little bit more expensive that I normally would not have afforded. And I waited till the holiday sales in November and December to shop at a couple of places that I'd had my eye on. I bought everything I wanted, and I felt like it was very indulgent and very rewarding. It felt like those times when you very first started shopping and you would get excited about getting something new and you couldn't wait to get home and wash it and wear it and so forth. Because that feeling for me had faded with fast fashion. I no longer had that feeling when I bought clothing anymore. I no longer felt excited about what I had bought. It just seemed like, oh, I got something new. But this experience brought that feeling back, and it felt good to me. I really liked it. So I think I will try to do this more often, where I take that budget that I actually know I've been spending on clothing and just save it up for a little bit longer, wait a while, and go all out in a place that I really love. The next tip is to tally the cost per wear. Think about it as, how much does this cost me each time I wear it? For instance, let's take an outer known wool shirt jacket that I bought for $120. For this example, I'm going to say I've owned it for 50 days and I have worn it at least 4 times a day because it's winter time and I'm going in and out. So 4 times a day times 50 days equals 200 wears. $120 divided by 200 equals 60 cents per wear. 60 cents per wear is a great deal. At this point, with this particular coat, I'm already to 0 cents per wear because I have owned it for 2 seasons now, and it has basically paid for itself. So eventually with this model, the idea is to get to that $0 per wear. And unfortunately, with fast fashion, you may never get to $1 per wear, much less 60 cents per wear, and never mind 0 cents per wear before you've thrown it away. Number 3 is rent the runway. If you need a garment for a special occasion and you don't want to spend all that money and have a garment hanging at the back of your closet that you've only worn once just gathering dust, this is a great option. Or if you've got a friend that is the same size as you and you can raid her closet for special occasion clothing, this is also a great idea. I don't have special occasions very often, so this isn't something I need to do, but I do have a friend that is a realtor and she does this all the time because she has lots of events to go to and she'll rent items and send them back. And it's just a perfect way to not buy pieces that never get worn again and end up at the back of your closet gathering dust. Number 4 is shop consignment or thrift. Consignment shops are amazing. I have had great success with consignment shops. Unfortunately, right now, I don't have one near me that accepts my kind of clothing. The one closest to me that is one I like and is the nicest is more businessy. I don't even really buy anything in there because it's just not my taste for what I wear. But it's a great way to be completely circulatory because you can take your items in, you can put them on trade, and then shop in the consignment shop for other clothes. And often you can go in with items and come out with items and you haven't spent any money at all. And this was something I did for a very long time when I was younger, and I was able to afford a lot of nicer things because I was in a circulatory program with those items in that particular consignment shop. I don't have great access to good thrift stores here, so it's not something that I do. The thrift stores here are pretty run down and they really don't have quality items, so they're not places that I really go. And then I end up with the issue of detergents being a problem. So now there's these forever fragrances in detergents and softeners sheets that are attached to clothing, and I can't buy them. I can't wear them because the scent is just too overwhelming. And I have tried to do this, and then I spend an immense amount of time trying to get that smell out of the clothing, and it's just not worth it for me. But if thrifting is your thing, this is the easiest place to save money. I will give you some tips on thrifting. Turn your budget from the amount of money you're going to spend to the amount of items that you're going to buy, because thrifting can easily become as all-consuming as buying fast fashion. And unfortunately, fast fashion is starting to show up in thrift stores. That's one of the reasons I don't really like the thrift stores around me, because it's all clothing from all the places that I have stopped shopping at in this area. I would say, just make sure that you're looking for items specifically. Thrifting really requires going in with a list of things that you actually want to find instead of going in just haphazardly, because you may just come out with a whole bag full of stuff that you really didn't need, and then your closet is overflowing again. Apply the same rules when you're thrifting to slow fashion. Look for quality, look for fabric content, get familiar with some of the brands that are slower fashion, and listen to your gut about your style. Remember to really keep your style in mind. Just because you find something in a thrift store that you're attracted to, it doesn't necessarily mean it needs to come home with you. One really cool thing about some of these slower fashion houses is they are starting circulatory programs. So you can buy from them, wear the clothes, as long as they've been gently used and cared for, you can send them back and they will resell them, and you can shop the resale shop for used items. So if you have a favorite brand that has one of these resale shops, it's essentially consignment and you can have the same experience with that specific brand. I am currently looking into all of these shops when I find slow fashion houses that I'm interested in to see if there are items that I want. Of course, this is a much smaller collection of items, so sizes are limited, styles are limited, colors are limited, so it's kind of like just a treasure hunt. Number 5 is wait for sales. Sign up for emails to the companies that you're interested in and wait for their items to go on sale. One of the great things about slower fashion is it moves slower because it is a little bit more costly. It doesn't move quite as fast, so often your items are still there when they go on sale. This is really helpful for helping you afford more sustainable brands, is to only buy from them when they are on sale. Granted, you are gonna find things that you absolutely love and you do not want to miss out on them, and I say go for it in that case. When you start going through these sales, focus on what you need to fill gaps in your wardrobe, and this will keep you from filling hangers that don't need to be filled. Number 6. This isn't necessarily a tip, it's just a concept that I think helps motivate you a little differently. Favorite pieces actually help your budget, because what happens when you have a smaller wardrobe with more favorite pieces is you tend to wear those items more. And you tend to grab them more. They tend to be a little bit more front and center in your closet instead of being, relinquished to the special occasion section. And I think that it's really fun to actually be able to wear your favorite items. This was one of my biggest surprises in ditching fast fashion, was realizing I could wear my favorite item as much as I wanted to. It didn't matter whether it was a special occasion or not. Not that most of my clothes need to be special occasions or whatever, but you'll have that nicer piece that you want to just keep pushing to the back of the closet. And when you find something that you absolutely love, you should absolutely wear it. These items for me are pieces that I can grab with zero thought. I love them, I wear them, and I'm happy. This is how I know what brands to stick with too. Those pieces that I absolutely love and grab all the time, those are the brands I'm going to keep going back to. So number 7 is avoid final sale items. It's important that you look at the return policies and take that to your advantage, because if you're looking at brands that might have size inconsistencies or they're kind of new to you and you don't really know how everything fits, I would absolutely avoid final sale items. This is a pilot point for you because you may end up with things that you cannot return and that you didn't absolutely love the way they fit, the way they felt, or they just weren't right for you. Just because it's on clearance doesn't mean it needs to make its way into your closet. So number 8 is one of my favorite budget tips that I thought of during this process, and that is trade budgets with one of your hobbies. Most of us have a hobby or two that requires us to spend money on items to do the hobby. The thing about most hobbies is that we collect a collection of things. When it comes to things like crafting or knitting or painting or whatever, we have plenty of supplies. We can stop spending on that hobby for a little while and move that money over to something else. And in this case, for me, my hobbies are knitting and painting, and with my shoulder injury and my radial nerve injury in my right arm, knitting and painting have not been at the forefront of my downtime. They have not been things that I have been doing regularly because I haven't been able to. So it was easy to take the money that I would have spent on knitting or on painting and use that money to fill those gaps in my wardrobe with more sustainable fashion. That is it for my budgeting tips for embracing slow fashion. I have some exciting news, and my ebook for embracing slower fashion is available now. You can head over to my website and purchase it through the link in the description box below. Please go get a copy. I know y'all have waited way too long for it to be released. It took me a while to deal with formatting issues with the program that I use to build ebooks. I will also be releasing this ebook on Amazon, so if you want it for Kindle or you want a paperback version, it will be coming out pretty soon. We have to deal with all of the formatting issues and so forth with that, so it takes a little bit longer, but I wanted to go ahead and make the PDF version available on my website. If you have questions or comments about these budgeting tips, or if you have budgeting tips of your own, please leave those in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. That's one of my favorite things about doing these videos, is talking to you. While you're down there, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so now, because I would love to see you next time. And until then, shine on.